What do you mean by you were being a anyway?
Like, I was just being at university. Like, I was just sleeping around with everyone.
But I feel like I know of a lot of girls who have done that at university but then haven't gone on to become OnlyFans stars.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I just was like already very, not proud, like very just okay with doing that. Like, I've just always had quite like a sexual nature.
Yeah.
I've tried this video 3 times now. I'm having a lot of struggles with making it. It's very uncomfortable, very vulnerable. But Lily Phillips was able to make a documentary. While I do believe a lot of it is into a marketing type of situation, I want to come at this from a perspective of someone who was trafficked, coerced, fraud, and brought into a world. And there's a lot of aspects in my story that I am currently writing a memoir and trying to get everything down. It's very difficult, very hard, reliving that past. And when I saw some of the things that she said, I really felt like I could understand some of her points. And when she was just saying, it was talking about, you know, how she's always been like sexual, but it's not something she's proud of. It's kind of interesting that she would decide to go along and do this, but maybe it's because she no longer sees sex as something that is valuable or meaningful. She sees it more from a perspective of, well, you know, it's just something that people do, which is kind of how society now definitely looks at it. So let's get into the next video.
Like, how are you going to decide what to film this afternoon?
I usually am going to prioritize my customs.
Like, they've paid for like a customized request?
Yeah, customized requests that maybe I say their name in it or something that they're really into that I don't have already. Sin, what you're up to. Sometimes it's just general conversation, like sometimes guys just want to talk.
Have you like recognized any of the names in here of people that you might know?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's been some guys that like outwardly say like we used to go to school together.
Wow.
Or some of like dad's friends and stuff like that.
What messaging you?
That's heavy. Her father's friends contacting her and asking for stuff with her. So something that kind of caught my attention in the beginning is what she was talking about with talking to them and, you know, them asking for certain things. Sounds like prostitution already right off the bat, and it is. And I think that's kind of something that OnlyFans people are trying to disassociate themselves to, because it's not a direct transaction. Like, you come into the door and then you lay the money down or whatever, and there you go. It is a direct transaction. You have people paying for your membership for you to do things. It's a direct transaction. I believe everybody on OnlyFans is a prostitute. Male, female, whatever it is. It's prostitution. She has to keep her clients engaged by talking to them. Even if all they want to do is talk, well, eventually they're going to, you know, help give gifts, and it's a part of the manipulation tactic of the insidious behavior between everybody involved, whether it's her or her production company or the people that work for her. I read that her mom works for her, and that's pretty twisted, and I don't see her really getting out of it anytime soon, because her family obviously is supportive, even to the point where her father's friends are trying to come see her and ask for things, and there's just absolutely no morals at all anymore. She has completely disassociated and taken herself away. She just sees this as easy money business, or some people would say easy money, but it's really not. It's so much trauma on your mind, your body, your soul, and just long-term, short-term trauma. And she's trying to make an excuse. She's trying to market herself. It's not going to work with somebody like me, because it's just not going to. I've been through a lot, and I've seen a lot, and I can see through what she's saying. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Like we said, we prioritize the ones who have STI checks. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'm nervous for is like for them to have a good time. I want to make sure they enjoy themselves and don't come away from it like, oh, I feel disgusted or that wasn't fun. 2006.
Oh my God,
So
how does that make him?
She looks excited. She looks happy. There's the validation of over 2,000 men that are trying to do this. And it seems as though it makes her happy. And that's something that allows to give her validation. This could be somebody who deals with mental disorder or mental trauma. It's really hard to understand how somebody can do something that so many people are trafficked into doing. And it's hard to grasp, how she can be, how can she just accept this? Some people could say it's maybe like a fetish or something, but you can tell later on it's not.
Here for the thing?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a bit early.
I'm Josh, by the way.
Oh,
Hey, nice to meet you.
I never really think about things before I do them, so I've just kind of do them and then think, oh, was that okay? But yeah.
We received a text from Lily's team asking us to not draw attention to the rented Airbnb where the stunt was set to take place.
She's asked us to not.
A lot of us don't think about what we are doing until after, especially if we have like an underdeveloped brain or we have anything going on. So it just like everybody here is a participant in something so demonic, insidious. It's terrifying. It's terrible for everybody. And the people that are just saying yes, it's just, it's really hard to watch this because I don't want to say too much because I am trying to put a lot more in the book. I feel like reading it where I'm able to take that time, put on headphones, put on music, and really write and remember and be in depth about it. It will come out so much better than sometimes the words that I can on a video. But it's really hard but understandable to see how this can be normalized. But it's easy when we grew up with stuff like Sex in the City and we have all these female rappers and we have all this female empowerment. That empowerment is doing all this stuff. And then when we're young, and even, Andrew Tate, and any guy that is watching this that is a red pill guy, you can't try to say that you dudes don't say to us that like our sense of importance comes from our body and our sexuality and like what we can do for men. And then you guys will say, well, when she's like 14, 15 or 16, that's her best. It's foul. Like there's no other word to express these things other than just utterly and completely foul that men want to try to make women think this type of way. Not all men, some men. And I just had my partner tell me that there's a lot of men that ruin situations and relationships for other men who actually have very good intentions because those men have issues that they aren't able to work out, and it just makes it really unfair. I can totally see that and agree with that. And the same thing is with genders reversed as well. So many women ruin it for other women, and it's hard to see this gentleman is obviously doing something that he knows. He's like, I don't even know how I'm gonna feel about this, but neither does Lily. Lily hasn't done anything like this, and she doesn't know how she's gonna feel. It seems like I would believe the majority of the people don't know how they're gonna feel, and they all might in some way disassociate.
Either of Lily's on OnlyFans?
I'm going to be honest with you, it was only when she said.
So you got a text, but they sent the address quite late, didn't they?
Yeah, just this morning. Funny, like on the text it was like, if you have any friends who'd like to take part, and I was like, oh, that's one of my motivations for coming here.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna happen, you know?
Curiosity gets a lot of people. It makes them feel like more interested in something that they're just like, oh, I'm really curious about this, you know, but it's about trying to overcome that urge. It would seem that she is, or he, yeah, so he just kind of called her out on something. It could be calling her out, or it could be something else. I'm just making my own presumption, but when he said that, she said, if you have any friends, yeah, let them come over, or they can come over. I see that more as a marketing thing, because earlier she did say that they had over 2,000 men, and it would seem that they had all those guys probably vetted. Like she said, that people with the STI checks will be taken care of first and are like priority. So it would seem that the whole friend thing is just more of a marketing thing. It's not really anything genuine. It's not like, none of it's genuine, of course, but yeah, it's marketing. This stuff just makes me laugh because I feel so sad. Like I'm sorry for laughing at this, but I feel so sad for men and even women who pay people for this type of stuff and genuinely think like they actually like care and like, oh, we're friends and stuff, and she talks to me, and or he, you know, and this and this and that. And really, it's not like that. Like, money talks. We live in a broken economy, and this to her is easy money. This is easy money, no matter how much emotional trauma will come at it, no matter how much baggage will come at it now or years down the road. She is able to try to secure her bag, and that's what's genuinely important to her. And in doing that is being able to market herself continuously, even in this act. Oh, let your friends know, you know, it's marketing. And it just makes it reinforces me, where I think a lot of women especially feel very unsafe and unloved in their relationships, and there's a huge lack of trust because of the easy accessibility of something like OnlyFans or Corn, and being able to secretly get on these things and start talking to another woman. It happens all the time, and it makes relationships very, very difficult.
Having had their IDs checked and release forms signed in order to allow publication on OnlyFans, 6 men sat anxiously on a sofa, waiting for their turn to have sex with Lily. Meanwhile, it seemed the reality of what Lily was undertaking was starting to become slightly more real.
Hello.
Hello, how are you feeling?
Nervous, no, excited.
The range of different emotions, preparing yourself for something like that, the range of, you know, trying to act on camera and trying to be what you know that your subscribers and people that you hopefully want to subscribe to you will be, or people that will see you will want you to see, which is somebody who's giddy and really happy to do this. Like, eventually you have to step into a role of acting, and that's what she's doing. She's stepping to her role of acting. Like, oh, I'm gonna do an impression, okay? This is how easy it is. This is how simple it is. I've always just really loved sex, and I feel like I've always been good at it. And, you know, it's just something that I've never really looked at in a way that had value. So I didn't really think it was really worth much, and I didn't think I was worth much. But I know that I can give my worth by giving something to men and making them feel better. This is about me making them feel comfortable, and then being able to please them makes me happy and feel like I'm doing something right as a woman, because isn't that what us women are supposed to do? It's that simple, to market yourself in a way where it's like, oh yes, she wants to please us. Like, look at that. It's so easy. It's so easy.
Guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Just as proceedings were about to commence, we were asked to leave. It was hard not to feel concern for Lily as we left the house. She seemed more apprehensive about what she was doing than she had done over the past few weeks. Perhaps the reality of the situation was beginning to dawn on her. It certainly was for me.
It was just weird. Like, that's all I can describe it as. It's just so weird. Like, Lily seemed a bit more nervous than she seemed.
It's very weird, and it's not something that is normal, and it's not something that should be normalized at all in any way. So, and he's seen her from different angles of a few weeks ago up until now in the actual day, and even he's probably feeling like, wow, there's really going to be 101 men that are going to come through. That's absolutely crazy.
How's it going so far? How many are we on?
I think only 8.
I had to really like zoom in because I was trying to get a look at her facial expressions, which verbal cues tell a lot about a person and like how comfortable they are, and you can tell she's not comfortable. You can tell it's like only 8, you know, and kind of goes to a place of what she's already feeling disappointed in some way. It's a very complicated topic, honestly. It's very complex to get into this. It's easier for me to get into it on my book and talk about that kind of stuff because it's talking about it on here. It's like trying to open up in a way that is just very difficult to open up on a video. So I do commend her for being able to be vulnerable and open up to people like this and allow scrutiny or whatever for herself. But it's very sad to see. It's very depressing.
By the experience.
How are you feeling?
It's not something I'd normally do, but I saw it and I thought, might as well.
Yeah.
I think I saw it and I just thought, fucking might as well just do it.
And like, how long did you get with her?
Well, she said 5 minutes, and then halfway through, she said she hadn't started the timer, so she said like 5 minutes from now. Which is all right.
So you got some extra...
Yeah, just an extra time.
Do you know how many guys had gone before you?
No idea. No idea.
Yeah, like, is that what...
Well, look, yeah, but I don't really know. You know, I just thought...
Are you happy you did it?
A little bit. I'm just a bit nervous, maybe, if anyone find out. My dad would kick me out straight away.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting to get his side, because on his side he says, yeah, it bothered him how many men were before him. Seems a bit like there's some trying to disassociate from that as well, but he knows that in a way he's not turned on by this. Like, this isn't something that turns him on. It's something that he found that could be a way of him being able to get with somebody that he idolizes and sees as physically attractive. And so it was kind of, yeah, probably even, I wonder how many of those men feel uneasy about what they just did as well.
Hello, hi.
Hello. How are you?
Lily offered to show me the aftermath of their stunt.
Oh, it stinks.
What does it smell like?
Like, brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh, holy shit.
I guess it... You actually can. Is that real?
Yeah, he's not good with smells.
Lily then walked us through the process that she had repeated 100 times that day.
Come on in, make yourself at home, take your shoes off. I've got some hangers here if you want to put your coat up.
Nice.
Come on in, where you travel from today? Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get you on the bed, make yourself comfortable,
Yeah.
take off your trousers, and we're going to have a fun time. And then I'll give them the phone camera. I'll just say, I'm guessing you don't want your face in it.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it'll be POV phone camera.
Yeah.
I'll start usually with a and then I'd say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we kind of got straight into it.
Did you do the with a condom on or?
No,
No.
I
condom
didn't.
off
Condom off.
Okay, but then like once they're having sex and it's like
Yeah,
condom on type thing.
Yeah.
It does smell a lot like sex. I mean, and there's rose. That's nice. Did one of the guys?
Surprised to see that they did not demand that the guys throw it in the garbage can, that it's just laying all over the place. It's just quite like, it's like a sex murder scene kind of is what it looks like. Like, oh my gosh, that's a bit overwhelming, I think, and a bit too much. Like, why couldn't they have put it in a trash can, and why wasn't there a trash can right there? She definitely makes it clear that she has a script, and she comes in and she has exactly what she asked them to do. You know, she's trying to welcome, okay, and then this is this and this and that. Okay, well, let's do it. It reminds me a lot of eventually like a script that I had to get into in order to be able to disassociate from my own brain and kind of flip it into being able to accept reality and what was actually happening, so I could separate from myself. It was like I had to try to become somebody else. And it seems like that's what she's doing. She's coming onto a script. She's able to now disassociate, and there's just a crap load of condoms and cum everywhere. It's quite disgusting. I wonder I'm just a bit surprised to see that can't afford a trash can and to tell the men to throw that stuff away. Like, it's just weird because this is somebody who like tries to make herself a certain way, and then you walk into this room and the guy is gagging and almost throwing up because of how disgusting it is. It is weird. Like, she's not being trafficked. Nobody's holding her. Like, some people are being held in some underground place where things are really disgusting. There's no reason why she can't have them throw that stuff in a trash. I'm not really sure if it was for shock value, since it's being documented, and then it allows for people who are watching it to be like, oh wow, she really did this. That might be why they didn't have it, was so that he could come in the room, and it allows for like the people already, I'm just calling her clients, to go in there and see the creation, and people who are into that type of thing are going to be like turned on by it. That's why there was no trash can. I don't know, it's very odd.
Stairs is not really sore.
Okay.
It's more just tired. My eyes sting like nothing else.
Why?
Because of all the cum in it. I think I repeatedly said, you can come on my face, but not in my eye.
And they just went right at the eyes.
Well, I think like it might have been an accident. But no, I mean, I've definitely seen some spunk today, Jesus. And it just took definitely a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I think it was when it was only like 40 and I was like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
And 40 is still a lot of people. Like, imagine 40 people and be like, I'm not even halfway, like, done.
Yeah. All I can say about that is there's going to be something that I'm going to be writing about, which is a day that I ended up telling my pimp at the time to not schedule me for that many people, because I was in so much pain, and it wasn't even close to the number of people that she saw in one day. But my body just shut down. It just, like, I could not take anymore. I could not do anymore. I'm really surprised that she was able to loosen herself up and be comfortable and all that. You know, it's kind of surprising to see that she was able to do that, because it's very painful. And for hours, for many hours, is the thing that is kind of surprising to me. But maybe she's just built differently.
What time you ate?
I think I had a yam yam. Yam yam, is that what they're called? A little pastry. And I think I had a sandwich, and that was and then the rest come. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it, like...
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry. It's okay. No, it's okay. Just take
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think I was you know when I talked to you last, like I was not nervous, it was like the day before I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. But it was good. It was more, I guess the interactions when like, I'd have to stop them early and like, you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go. And like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to make them come if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like you didn't give them a good time because like they only got 2 minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Like, kind of like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad.
So her crying after the event, not during the event, is a delayed trauma response. Our brain sometimes will suppress emotions so we can get through the moment. Like she disassociated, she flipped her brain so she could try to get through that moment, or a long, very long time. And then eventually the dam breaks and the trauma comes in. And it's like she ends up saying, you don't really see how much pain that is going to happen in these moments. And it becomes like a wave that hits and a dam that just breaks and it comes crashing down onto you. And you can see that wave within her. So she's having a trauma response.
I didn't want to give them a shit time and like come away from this and be like, oh, that was shit. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember. And that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part.
She's explaining herself in a way of, it's like, these men are making me feel bad, but I have to remember that this is business. And I would imagine the reason she's upset is because maybe multiple men, because of the time limit having to be so fast, were not satisfied, had to come all the way out there, and she's concerned about losing money, subscribers, etc. And on top of that, it might also be the fact that she now feels very used, almost as like a toy. So there could be a lot that is going on in her head right now. I'm not a psychologist in any way. I'm not trying to say that I am, but I have been through let me just make this point clear. Whether it's trafficking, exploitation, or extreme conditions in the adult industry, the mind often tries to protect itself in ways that aren't always obvious, and people don't always understand. I can see where her mind is trying to protect herself from like these patterns in her mind that are going crazy right now. Exactly what I said earlier, performative, robotic, it ends up having to become like step away from yourself. So here's some, like, yeah, it became painful. So people who are saying she enjoyed this, I don't believe that at all. And oftentimes we end up having to, it's tough to see this, and it's tough to hear everything she's saying. From my perspective, I do believe that what she is doing is prostitution, which isn't, and I think some of these OnlyFans women don't like to be labeled as prostitutes, but the reality is that what they are doing is, it is prostitution. It is selling your body for money, and it is exactly what that is. There's no other way to put it. And if they don't like that, then, that's up to them to be able to have that conversation with their own self. That's not up for me. That's not up for anybody else. That's their own conversation that they have to have with their own self to say, is this really something that I want to continue to do? And it can be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult, I'm sure, when, you know, you're making money, somebody else is making money, you get involved in a trauma bond, or you get involved in, what's it called? Where you basically start to stay in a really toxic environment and toxic situation, Stockholm syndrome, and, you know, the person that is abusing you in some type of way, it just becomes normal, because it just becomes something normal. And her family has normalized it, her friends, production people have normalized it, and so has society. Society normalizes this, and they have in many movies and music videos and in many different aspects. And so it is something that becomes confusing when one side of the spectrum is saying this is not normal, and then the next side of the spectrum says this is normal. And that's something that each of us have to weigh out, is what do we want to be perceived as normal and not normal, and what is okay and not okay. Yeah, very, very sad to see this. She's trying to say that it's because she just wants to please them. And I think a lot of it comes from a bunch of different standpoints. But what makes it clear to me is she can lose out on money, and she could have people say bad things about her, and I believe people did actually say bad things about her. And she could also just feel like some of the men might have made her feel really bad, like somebody might have came, like one of them came from Switzerland, came all the way from Switzerland, you can't even get me off, blah, you know, who knows what was said in that room. None of us, I don't think, will know everything. So
Following our filming with Lily, as she announced to her fans that in February of 2025, she would be sleeping with 1,000 men in a single day to break the world record.
Last week I did 101 guys. Now this was just the warm-up, because in February I'm going to be the first person ever to reach 4 digits of guys all in one day. Yes, 1,000 guys.
Maybe what we witnessed that night was just someone overwhelmed with emotion after completing such a monumental challenge. Or maybe we saw the true toll this career can have on a person.
that is horrific to hear, to watch. I'm just warmed myself up to 1,000. We don't really know if she's gonna hit those 4 digits. That's pretty insane, and it's almost to a point where I'm surprised she does not get checked into a mental institution, because again, this isn't happening behind closed doors. This is happening in plain sight. And I would think that something like sleeping with 1,000 people in one day should definitely merit for her to have to check into a mental institution, because that's insane for somebody to be willing to do this, willingly saying, I'm going to do this. And the whole reason why she said that she started this was because she was already a sexual person and figured, why not? I just might make a couple $100 to get a some food or beer here and there. She mentioned this in the documentary, and then it started from a different place. That's not always the case for other people. For other people, it is trafficking, and it is survival, and it is people that are put into coercion, fraudulent situations, or they are literally kidnapped. And it's kind of pisses me off to see her making just such a mockery out of people that actually are forced or coerced and fraud, which these are, when you look up sex trafficking, these are the definitions of somebody that has been sex trafficked. So nobody can take away what that actually means, especially when some of this goes to court and people do get tried for coercion and fraud. Even if there is no kidnapping involved, there are other aspects to it. But it's kind of sick and twisted to see a girl that is just like so accepting of this. It's her prerogative, but I feel like, how is she ever going to trust any man? I think that was a really hard thing for me, was not only was it the person, like how everything happened for me and what led up to all of it, and the people that lied, coerced. I was not put in a good situation by any means at all. And it was really, really fucked up, what happened. And it's just like, it's really sad, because it's not even just men, it's women who are part of this, and women who are part of helping to traffic other girls and to coerce them and to lie to them and to say, yeah, come on. Like it's not even that. It's, you just go on dinner dates with guys, and it's, you're gonna make a ton of money, and then you show up and you're there and you don't come from a good lifestyle, and it's, they know about the situation, and you were completely just manipulated, lied to, and put into a survival situation and coerced into having to make a very tough decision of where do I even go? They know I have nowhere to go, so what do I even do? And some people have no options. Some people are kidnapped and forced into this stuff, and some people have been kidnapped and forced into this and end up having Stockholm syndrome, or some people aren't kidnapped and forced into it and they are coerced, or they get into it and they just get like, they normalize it through the trauma of doing it. And it's really sad to see this girl just, it feels almost like making a mockery of people who, it feels really disingenuous and insidious. And I hope that she finds some healing. It's hard to just see her so nonchalantly, like, I warmed myself up and I'm gonna get to 4 digits. How does somebody not just check her into a mental institution? Because something's obviously not right. But I guess money talks a lot of volume, and so that's her motivating factor. It's money, and sometimes it does seem easy, sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And she has allowed herself to just be like, I can do this. And that's her life and her journey to explore. I pray and I hope that she gets out of it, though. I don't really have anything else to say. I don't know what else to say. It brings up a lot for me, so. And people that I watched, and many people who I witnessed fall deep into drugs and are no longer alive. Just, they're still in that lifestyle. They haven't been able to escape. And I just feel like it's a fucking mockery. It's a mockery to everybody, to all these people. Yeah. I just, a lot of flashbacks. So thank you for watching.